Hello, and welcome to Body Language by Embody You. I'm Annette Lane, and I'm so glad you're here. This show is where we take a step back from the shoulds and the should nots of social media and really learn what your body is saying and how to speak its language. We're going to dive into topics like gut health, birth control, cycle health, and give you real world, honest examples of what these actually might mean to you. My goal is to create a space that you can come back to whenever you need a reset or just don't know how to go forward. New episodes will be released weekly, and I cannot wait to take you along with this journey. Let's get started. Today's episode's for you if you are stuck in that all or nothing mindset, you're avoiding social interactions, you feel like you need to start over every Monday, or you're pushing off your goals altogether, and tell a spot where you feel like you can be perfect instead of taking action today. Because girl, I've been there. You feel like you need to choose between your body and your goals or social interaction, fun, events, your friend's birthday, and you feel like you can't have both. And I'm here to tell you, you can. You can walk hand in hand with your fitness journey, with your wellness, and with your social life. I've worked with hundreds of girls in the same situation, and I would say 9 out of 10 girls that join our program are probably stuck in that all or nothing perfectionist mindset as well. Like Katie, for example, she was probably one of my favorite transformations. One of the girls I worked with from the beginning of the program for about 2 years. She came to me saying, Annette, you know what? I'm either really good or I'm just really not. I'm either in the gym, I'm meal prepping, I'm grinding, I'm getting it done, or I couldn't be bothered by it, right? I tend to fall off and then fall back on. And I'm in this yo-yo period and I don't know how to get out of it. And I said, sit back, sister, do I have something for you? And we took her through the Embody You method, which is like to a T built for this kind of mindset where you haven't found something that's actually sustainable, right? You haven't found something that allows you to have that friend's birthday dinner on a Tuesday or go out with your friends on the Saturday or go on vacation for a week because you feel like once that happens, you have to hit the reset button. So let me put it to you this way. Let's say, for example, you're driving down the road and all of a sudden you get a flat tire, okay? You pull off to the side of the road. You're like, Dad, AAA, someone help a girl out. I didn't learn how to change a tire. And someone shows up. Maybe you have to get a tow. They patch up your tire. You get a new tire and you're on your way. Or let's say you're driving down the road. Boom, you get a flat tire. And you pull off to the side of the road and you're like, Dad, AAA, someone help me. And you're like, okay, they're on their way, but while they're coming, I'm just going to slash the other 3. If one of them's flat, I might as well just slash the other 3, make all 4 of them flat so I can just start from scratch, right? I can get 4 brand new tires and just start over. That is the exact same mindset that we fall into when we fall into that all or nothing mindset. We say, oh, okay, I missed my workout. Well, then I'm not even going to care what I eat for the rest of the day. Oh, I can't get my step goal in. Well, screw my water goal. I have a morning routine, but since I can't hit the gym today, I might as well not even do it. We start to fall in that mindset and we're like, okay, Tuesday, maybe I wasn't perfect. Maybe I missed a workout. I'll start over on Monday. So because Tuesday suffered, maybe even one part of Tuesday, maybe all of Tuesday didn't need to suffer. Maybe one part wasn't quite as you planned it. Now Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday all suffer because of one thing that happened on Tuesday. And that is exactly why you're stuck. And that is exactly the cycle that we break all of our girls out of. It is so frustrating. And you feel like you can't wrap your head around the fact that it's okay to not be perfect. Trust me, I grew up as like textbook perfectionist. If I wasn't getting an A+ on it, I wasn't doing it. I wasn't going to bed until I had it. Like I was getting it until it was done to a T perfectly, all T's crossed, all I's dotted. And I couldn't rest until it felt like that. And I think that really translated into my fitness journey. When I started, it was like, oh my gosh, I can't go all in on this unless I'm like ready. We talk to a lot of girls and it's like, oh, I'm going to wait until, I'm in my routine, or I'm going to wait until I graduate or start a new job. And trust me, girl, life's you. Like we say all the time, we're like, things are going to come up, but that is the point. If you keep pushing this off into a day where you feel like you can be perfect, I'm here to tell you that day's never coming. Right? There's never going to be a day where you wake up and you're like, boom, ready to take on the day. And maybe you will. And then 3 days later, something's going to happen and you're going to say, oh, now I got to start over. I'm telling you, your body doesn't keep score like that. A really good way that I had explained it to Katie was almost that she got a leash the more and more she was consistent. So the more that you keep showing up for yourself, the more that you keep executing and making these positive changes, the more your body repays you in the form of like a leash. So let's say you do go out on the weekend or you go on vacation for a week and you come home and you're like, nothing happened. That's that leash. Your body almost gives you that in turn of all of the good things you did for your body. Your body's like, you know what, girl, You go have your time. And yeah, maybe you're going to come back a little bloated. Maybe you had one too many margaritas. Maybe you ate a little bit more chips and salsa and your sodium intake was up, or it's that time of the month. Sure, we might feel bloated, or the weight, on the scale might fluctuate, which is completely normal for women. Your body didn't just reset. All of that reset, all of that all or nothing fear is all up here. Your body isn't like, oh my gosh, I just forgot what she did for the last 3 months to get to this Mexico trip. Yay, let's start over when we get home. No, your body's like, oh, giving me a break. Like, okay, we'll take that. Like, let's enjoy it. And when we come back, let's get back on it, because I promise you the gym will be there when you get back. Lettuce will be there when you get back, right? Fruit's not going anywhere. I know that feeling when you come back from vacation. It's like, I've never seen anything green in my life. I've never seen anything like refrigerated or cold. Like, I want whole food, and that feeling is great, right? We're glad that we crave that, but it feels like we're never going to feel that way again. And we're going to be like so far off. And I promise you, you're not. It takes consistent overeating, under exercising, doing nothing for you to go backwards. And that's something that you start to learn. And we've taught all of our girls in our program, and especially with our girls that really struggle with that perfectionist mode. Like my dear friend, Kenna, who came into the program and she had a big goal, right? She was like, I want to lose like 80, 100 pounds. Like I have this goal that I've had for a while and I just can't seem to get there. And, she came to us just saying, I want a plan, because what I'm doing isn't working. And come to find out, we actually were really dealing with that perfectionist mindset. Kenna came in like guns a-blazing, so consistent. She wasn't missing her nutrition. She wasn't not hitting her macros. She wasn't missing a workout. Like, she was checking all of the boxes, right? She lost 80 pounds. Like, complete 180 transformation. And that's when we really had to start working through that all or nothing mindset. It's okay to go home for the weekend, and it's okay to hang out with your friends from high school or college when you're back. And it's okay to not be perfect, and to really lean into that trust. And that's what we teach all of our girls, is when you learn your body language and you learn that trust and that intuition, then you start to do things just like autopilot. You just start to make decisions because you know what's best for you. You don't have to ask anyone. You don't have to look on the internet for what's the newest, latest, greatest fit trend, right? You're like, I've got everything I need right here and in my heart. And that is something that is just something money can't buy, right? Our biggest goal with our program is to get you to a spot where you have wellness for the rest of your life. This isn't just a quick fix, right? We're not leaving you with an end date. We're leaving you with tangible information that you can say, oh my gosh, I never have to do 75 hard again. I never have to do this juice cleanse ever again, because I know how to take care of my body. I'm never going to get to the spot where I'm super far away from my goals, because I realize progress isn't linear, right? My journey isn't just like better and better and better. It's like a little zigzag. There's good days, there's bad days, there's normal days, right? You just keep going, but the overall trend is up. And once you realize that, that's when things start changing. That's when your body's like, oh my gosh, we're not dealing with stress anymore. We're not dealing with this idea that we have to be perfect, and that, once I have this body, I'm going to suddenly be this happy-go-lucky person. Because I will tell you, if it takes days and days and days of unfulfillment, of unhappiness, of avoiding to get that body, you're going to get it. And then happiness isn't going to come. Happiness should have been built along the way. It should have been built in the journey. You have to learn to love it, and you have to learn to do it in a way that feels good for you. Because what feels good for you might not feel good for me. And that's the beautiful thing about wellness, is it's completely individualized. And that's what you have to learn, is that when you keep listening to all of these outside opinions and you've never really learned about yourself, that's when you start to get analysis paralysis. And you're like, there's so much I could do. I'm doing nothing. And along with the tire analogy that we gave Katie, we also talked to Kenna about it, about, hey, what happens if you get a flat tire? Are you slashing all four? Or another way to look at it is, let's say you're driving down the road, you take a wrong turn, which I will admit happens to me probably more often than not. And you keep driving, and Siri's like, U-turn, U-E. Next one, hit a U-E. Next exit, hit a U-turn. And you're like, oh, this girl's not rerouting. Like, I can't just take a right or a left up here. Like, I truly have to turn around. Are you going to keep driving and just say, well, 1/10 of a mile, what's 1 mile? What's 10? Might as well just keep going this way, even though I know it's wrong. Or are you going to be like, oh, silly me. Let me just turn around and get right back on track. Maybe it added a minute to my drive. Boo-hoo, right? That's what happens when we fall into this all or nothing mindset. It's like, oh no, I took a wrong turn. Maybe that birthday dinner wasn't on the plan. It wasn't on the directions. I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to skip my workout tomorrow. I'll just start over on Monday. And now we're 100 miles away from our destination versus 10 miles, right? Because we kept going that wrong direction, thinking that one little speed bump was really deterring us off our course. And that is not true. And that is why you're stuck. Because what you can choose to do, and we tell our girls this like every day, we're like, hey, you can just start over. Like, we give you permission to wake up tomorrow. Let's say it's a Tuesday, it's a Saturday, it's a Monday, and just execute what you can, right? If you haven't worked out for a week, you can wake up and just go to the gym tomorrow. There might be a little bit of friction. It might take some extra convincing in yourself. You might need to give me a call or set out your gym clothes before, but once you get there, you'll be good. Like, it just comes back to you, right? It's that anticipation and that anxiety of the fact that we haven't done it, that our bodies like, keep her safe. Don't put her in a position where she could be uncomfortable. But I will tell you, that is where growth happens, right? Growth doesn't happen when you're comfortable, right? You can't expect to get better at something when you're already good at it. But when you step into those uncomfortable situations and you embrace the discomfort, you're like, I know I'm getting better at something. And when something falls off, and let's say you're like, shoot, I knew I shouldn't have kept driving, but I did, or I knew I shouldn't have slashed all 4 tires, but I slashed another one and I just skipped everything else. Well, when you do that, you're probably not going to do it again, right? You're like, well, at least I know for next time to just damage control and maybe not slash the rest. Or maybe I know next time that I miss a workout to not just say, screw the whole day, I just will eat whatever I want. I'll get better. And you start to grow and you start to gain that trust with yourself. And you're like, next time this comes up, I'm going to be that much stronger and I'm going to be that much more equipped to be able to handle that situation before those like dominoes start falling and before I start feeling further and further from my goal. True wellness doesn't come from perfectionism. And like I said, that is the most limiting thing you could be, is a perfectionist, because you are constantly putting yourself in a position to be disappointed. And when your expectations don't align with your execution, you find yourself unfulfilled, right? You're like, I want to be, a 10 out of 10 on execution, but right now I can only give it 6 out of 10. Well, I'm going to be disappointed, right? Versus saying, okay, well, I can only give it 6, but 6 out of 6 is 100%. So I'm going to give it that, and I'm going to keep moving on, and I'm going to keep moving forward. And that is something that's like, to a T, one of the best parts about a wellness journey is when you start to realize that it's all about 1% better, and it's about just moving the needle forward in whatever way you can and not just slashing all the tires, right? So I encourage you to say yes to the dinner on a Tuesday and say yes to the dinner on a Saturday and go on the vacation and start to learn that trust and that inner wellness with yourself. And at the end of the day, it's all just about trust, and it's about learning your body and knowing that the less I do to stress it out, the better I'm going to be and the better I'm going to feel. And in our last episode, we talked all about that stress reduction and how that really does play a role on your body in so many different ways, including your gut. And it's no secret that when these girls start recognizing these things and how this mindset is actually what's keeping them from their goals, that things start happening, right? They're not dealing with that lethargy. They have energy again, right? They're not dealing with that bloating all the time. They feel like they can actually digest their food because they're not in fight or flight mode. And when you start doing those things and getting rewarded, you keep doing it. And that's the beautiful cycle that you fall into. So to give you some hope, yes, there's tough cycles out there, right? There's crappy times when you're stuck in that all or nothing mindset, or you're stuck in that binge-restrict cycle. But there's also really beautiful cycles that you can fall into so gently, right? You can fall into this cycle of knowing, hey, as soon as I, take care of my body and slow down, my body repays me, which makes me want to do that even more. And so I keep doing it and I keep doing it, and you keep getting better and improving. You just have to give yourself permission to be able to slow down, cut the noise, and really learn about yourself. And as a fitness coach, there's a million programs out there, right? There's so many people out there that can teach you about fitness, about macros, about, what your body needs objectively. Our biggest purpose is finding something that's sustainable and enjoyable, so that you don't have to keep skipping the dinners, or you don't have to feel like you need to cover up, or you don't want to go to that boat day, or you don't want to go over because they were going to hot tub and I don't want to be in a swimsuit. You have to start working through those emotions and those feelings and recognizing your true why, right? Because if you don't know it, you're not going to keep going. You're going to keep falling on and off. But when you can recognize that and you can actually say, okay, I know why I started, I know why I'm going to keep going, things start to happen. So I don't blame you if you feel like you're getting stuck in this all or nothing mindset and nothing is sticking and nothing is working, because you really haven't found something that speaks to you, right? You haven't found something that works, something that's actually catered to you and your best self, and working through some of those things. And I've been there for years and years and years. And that's why I created our program. That's why I want to help every girl get out of that cycle of all or nothing, binge and restrict, of feeling like she can either choose between that birthday dinner or her body. And when I start to see girls realize I can have both, I can actually do these things. And that's really the key that we give all of our girls, is to be able to do that. And like I said, it all just starts with being aware of where you're at. And if that's something that, you are trying to figure out, like, I don't even know where I am, maybe even objectively, I don't even know where my gut health lies or where my, mental lies or any of those things. Number one, I would invite you to watch the episode previous where we really unpack how to figure out where you're currently at, who you currently are. In addition, I created a free resource for all of you to be able to get an actual personalized gut health score. And then from there, I give you personalized feedback on next steps that you should take so you can get on the right path. Because like I said, what's best for me may not be best for you. So if you're interested in that gut health scorecard and getting that personalized feedback of, okay, and I don't even know where to go from here, you can find the link in the description, linked below, or in both of my Instagram bios, at Annette Lane or at Embody You Wellness. And like I said, you can fill that out, get that score, and then know exactly which direction you need to take your wellness journey so that you truly feel embodied inside and out. When you truly start to recognize that it's not your consistency problem, it's not the fact that you're not motivated, it's just the fact that you don't have the right tools and you're not in the right headspace, things start to happen. When you start to get out of that headspace and you get the tools, you're like, whoa, for the first time in my life, I actually feel like I'm the driver of my wellness journey. So just remember, if you feel like you're stuck in this all or nothing perfectionist mindset, you're skipping out on the social events, it does get better. There is a beautiful cycle that you can fall into, and you don't have to do it alone. If you feel like this is you and it resonated, please grab that gut health scorecard, fill it out so that I can get you on the right track to actually breaking that cycle and having your biggest breakthrough yet. The gut health scorecard is your next step. And if you really, really loved this episode, as always, please share it with a friend that you think could also benefit from this information. Thank you for spending this time with me. I'll see you next week.